amigos. I just wanted to add something with regards to gaslighting. I think I didn't explain very well what happened. And gaslighting is actually a very serious form of manipulation and abuse. And it happens when a person tries to make you believe that the way you're interpreting reality or the way you're remembering things is wrong. And they also make you believe that you did certain things when you didn't, or they will change the way you remember things. Anyway, it's a very I would say a very specific way to manipulate a person, and in the end it comes down to disrespecting the person's feelings, and it's a way of saying I'm not taking you seriously, and I will show you why, because you're not someone that I can take seriously, because you don't remember things properly. And also it's also making out that the person is a liar. So you're lying to me, when in fact you know damn well that you've told them the truth, and you've remembered stuff accurately as possible, and yet the other person says no, you're not remembering it properly. And this is what used to happen all the time. And even now that we are not together anymore, like yesterday I was talking about that exchange of text messages, which I'm not very happy about myself, that I let myself how do you say that, bite onto the that I let myself enmeshed like that, and I responded to those triggers, so to say. And I mean, it's pointless me telling my ex why I want a divorce, because he won't respect those reasons, and he won't understand, or he will pretend that he doesn't understand. And the thing is with gaslighting, is not only trying to persuade a person that their memories are wrong, or that their perception of reality is distorted. It's also pretending that something hasn't happened in the first place. And when for example, I have told him many times that I'm not happy about our sexual relationship and our lack of intimacy, but he has never responded to that. So it's as if it hasn't happened. Like, in his mind, if he doesn't respond to something, or he doesn't explain himself, then that means this is not even something that has happened. So yesterday when I messaged him and I said I wasn't happy during my marriage, I wasn't happy because we never went out we never went out anywhere, we never went on a holiday, we never went on a weekend together. And we also, it was always me who initiated any sexual activity. And he didn't answer. He didn't answer. And there was a question, really. There's also a question implied. Why don't you initiate any sex with me? Or why am I really? Don't you desire me? Don't you fancy me? Do you think that I'm not someone who is desirable and who is worth the effort? I mean, even if you have a low sex drive, in your mind, wouldn't you be able to have a desire for that person and think, oh, if I initiate sex with my wife, I know she loves it and it will make her happy, but that doesn't even enter his mind. Because in his mind, that problem doesn't even exist. So he doesn't respond to my questions. And to this day, I don't know why certain things are the way they are. Because to him, this degree of gaslighting is to the point where I may ask him questions or I may tell him things, but he acts as if I haven't done that, as if the question isn't even there, or I have never asked that question in the first place. And whenever we used to have an argument, for instance, it was like, I've got an example. I used to get very upset when he'd slam the drawers shut, like of his bedside table, very, very aggressively, and it would go slam bang, and it wasn't necessary. You don't need to bang doors, you don't need to bang drawers. You can just close them nicely, gently, without making all that noise. It's not very nice. To me, it's like, I find it very aggressive when someone bangs and makes a lot of noise. And okay, we all have those moments when we forget, but as a rule, you don't have to do that. And if it bothers someone and the person tells me, oh, could you please not do that, I would say, oh, sorry, I didn't realize I was doing it. I won't do it again. And if I do it, please remind me so I can correct myself. So I did very nicely. I said, Joe, would you mind closing that drawer gently and not bang it? And because he also used to kick it with his foot, kick it very aggressively. And I said, would you mind not kicking it shut and just closing it gently? And he became so enraged. He was so enraged, and he called me all the names under the sun, and he went absolutely insane, And then the look in his eyes changes. His eyes become very evil and malevolent, and everything changes in him. And he was so enraged, and it was just unbelievable. He said, how dare you tell me that? And then later on he said that I had shouted at him and aggressively told him not to do that. And I said, I didn't shout at you. I asked you very politely if you could please shut the drawers gently and not bang it shut with your foot, not kick it shut. And he went on ranting and calling me a dumb bitch and a stupid bitch and a stupid cow and all the names under the sun. I can't even remember half the names he used to call me. And I just sat there and said, look, it's not really necessary for you to call me all these names, because at the end of the day, I just asked you very nicely not to do something because I find it very irritating, and also it gives me a headache. These loud noises, they give me a headache. I said, oh, there's always something wrong with you, and you're always sick, and you're always this and that, and you basically, he made it out like I was depriving him of his freedom, and I was aggressively demanding that he does something. And no, it wasn't at all like that, but he made it sound like that. And he basically told me that I was an abuser for daring to bring that up in the first place. And so, in the end, I just said, look, this is not gonna, you're not achieving, what are you trying to achieve by calling me names and by getting angry over something that's really quite mundane and insignificant? And and in the end, I just left the room and I let him stew in his own anger. But this is what happened. He would get angry over tiny little things, and when you ask him something, it's like, oh, the anger and so in the end you don't bother anymore. I was scared to ask for anything. And to this day, I don't have the answer to a lot of questions. I have never been able to ask him how much money he's got in his, in all his accounts, really, how much he inherited from his mother. But I had to tell him everything about what I inherited and how much I got from my mother, and I had to put it straight into the mortgage. And but she, rules that applied to me wouldn't apply to him, and yet he always thought that he was a great benefactor and Mr. Wonderful. But to this day, I don't know why he doesn't want to have sex with me. I don't know. He's never told me. He's never said, look, maybe it's a medical reason, maybe I need to get my hormones checked, and maybe I'm just low on my testosterone levels are just too low, or maybe I'm too tired, maybe I can't be bothered, I'm too lazy. I don't think it's important. I don't think, to me, it's not really important. All I'm interested is, when I get home, is to relax, watch TV, and go on the computer, watch my money grow on the screen, and I'm not interested in intimacy. It doesn't interest me. But then why did he want to be married to me? And why did he tell me yesterday, oh, you shouldn't leave me, we're getting old now and we need each other. Yeah, and I agree, we do need each other. We're getting old. But then if you really need me that much, wouldn't you try to do stuff to make me happy? I mean, I also do a lot of stuff to make him happy, but he also never gave me the opportunity to make him happy. If he was someone who loved food and loved my cooking, that would be easy, because then I could cook him a meal. But he would always make sure that he didn't eat any of my food, because to him then that would mean, because I'm eating that food that you prepared and that you shopped for, now I owe you something. Or if I demand sex or affection, then it's as if then he owes me something. And he always made sure that he didn't owe me anything. He made absolutely sure that at any level, whether it's emotionally or financially, he didn't owe me anything. But at the same time, happily stacking his money away and not making it available for our needs, our common needs, or my daughter's needs, or my needs, or So this is gaslighting, is his number one trait, I would say. But does that make him a narcissist or not? I don't know. I could also see very low levels of empathy. He wouldn't really take notice if I was unwell, or if I wasn't happy, or and even if he did notice it, he didn't care really. He wouldn't he wouldn't do anything to try and make me feel better. And in the end, I didn't confide in him anymore. If I had a problem, I'd rather talk to someone else, like my adult children or anyone, but not him, because he would also make me feel bad. If I felt bad, he would make me feel bad about it, and said, oh, you're feeling like this because you didn't do this and this and this and this, and making me feel guilty because I feel bad, and because I feel depressed, or I feel unhappy, or I've been cheated, I've been treated badly. Then it's all my fault, really. So I would like to really go more into the gaslighting and what it does. And it's mainly making the other person doubt their own reality, distorting facts, and denying that certain facts, that certain events happened the way they did, denying that, erasing that, and pretending that it didn't happen, not responding to certain questions or to certain events appropriately, not ignoring them. So if I ignore it, it means it didn't happen. And the thing is, we all have lapses in memory, and we all have problem processing reality appropriately at times, especially when we're down or when we're depressed, or so it does happen that our interpretation of reality is not accurate, and it can be distorted for different reasons. So if someone makes us doubt even more, about that reality, then they can really drive us to insanity. And at the moment, I'm not sure about anything anymore. I don't know whether things are real or not. And I know that I left him, and it was for a good reason, because it wasn't easy for me. It was the hardest thing I've ever done. And I would never put myself through something like this if there wasn't a reason for it, and if I wasn't at the end of my tether. I have tried everything. I've tried talking to him. I've tried, giving him cues. I have been very upfront and very honest about the way I felt, and yet it's as if, it's as if my requests were ignored, or just not taken seriously. That's another thing. He never used to take me seriously, and if I had a serious problem, he would just brush it off, and sometimes even laugh at me. If we had an argument, he would start laughing at me and making fun of me and being sarcastic and really make fun of me. And that's an awful thing. I hate sarcasm, and it's basically, sarcasm apparently comes from the Greek, and it means tearing flesh, and it is really something that tears you apart. It's terrible. It's humiliating. It's infuriating. It's not acknowledging the person's feelings and their needs. It's just really laughing at it, and in a sardonic, in a very evil way, like this evil witch's laugh, and also being happy to see the other person down. And that's another thing. Sometimes I feel that he was happy to see me down, and he was happy, and that would give him more ammunition to manipulate me and to make me feel even worse, and to make me feel like a total loser. And my employment situation hasn't been good for a long time, and that's something that he would ridicule even more, and make me feel horrible about my achievements, and basically make me feel like a loser. And I just felt like I don't have any right to be happy, to be loved, to be cherished, to be appreciated, to be loved in a way that is humane, and that is all couples have their ups and downs, and I would never want to think that marriage always has to be perfect and everything everything has to be hunky-dory all the time. And no, there are difficult moments, but we need to go through these difficult moments together, and as a team, not just, oh, I don't really care what you're going through, I'm washing my hands off that. I just go to work, come back, drink my beers, eat my food, go to bed, and repeat the next day. And come the weekend, I do the same thing, except that I don't go to work. And I don't really care what my wife does. She does what she wants. I don't give a shit. She comes and goes, and whether she's here or not, it doesn't really bother me, really. Oh, but hang on. She's not there anymore now. So why is she not there? I don't understand. Oh, she's not there because, she must be crazy. That's why she left. She's crazy. There's no reason for her to leave. I was a good husband. I always, I paid my bills. I went to work. I contributed towards, our child's costs. I was there to fix things. Well, he didn't really, because he wasn't always there to fix things in the house. I mean, the house was, falling to pieces. And the house was very symbolic of our relationship, because he wouldn't do any work on it. And it's basically a big, big problem now. So many things have been neglected in that house, but he makes it out like he's always looked after everything like a husband should do. And it's simply not true. Whenever was something needed to be fixed in the house, and I would tell him, he'd be enraged, and he would have a go at me like it was my fault. And I would say, look, I'm telling you this because I have to. It's my duty to tell you. But, and then, it was always about the money. He expected me to pay for things. But I said, I can't afford it. You've got more money than I do, so you should take on more of the costs. And he couldn't see that. He would say, oh, no. we're not going to do anything about it because I don't want to pay for it. But in the meantime, he was amassing money in his different accounts and make sure that he's always, he's got all the wealth and everything stacked away, but not prepared to renovate the house or to put any money into it or to fix. I mean, the gutters are rotting, everything's falling to pieces. There are termites in the roof and that are eating everything up, and it needs a coat of paint. It needs a lot of things done to it. And that's also one of the reasons why I just couldn't stay anymore. I just can't take it anymore. And yes, it's also my responsibility, but I've always said to him, I can't afford to maintain this. I don't have enough money. And I want to sell it. I wanted to sell it. I've been wanting to sell it a long time ago because I can't maintain it. But he refused to sell it. He said, no, we're not selling it. And then, he always used to say, I'm not going to leave this house, and if you want to go, you can go. And that's why I left, because he told me he wasn't going to leave. So yeah, so there you go. I just wanted to add that little bit, and I'm waiting for my daughter now to come back from school, and I'll take her home. My shift at work got cancelled, so I'm not very happy because that means less money. But that's life, and I will just have to try and get more work with my agency. Anyway, thanks for listening, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.